All right, folks, welcome back to the Monster Energy DreamHack Studios. Here with DreamLeague, sponsored by Monster Energy, which I desperately need now after that aerobic workout I was not prepared for.
They tell me I don't get hired based on my looks, but after just showing off my ass to the entire Twitch chat, I think you know why. That's all for you, baby. Full moon tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Daddy's been working out. Okay. So, we've got another series here, guys.
Yeah, we do.
We've got Mouse versus Na'Vi. Another exciting matchup here. CIS team, the powerhouse, going up against the Mousesports guys who don't have the greatest record so far in DreamLeague Season 7.
Neither did EPG, but look at them now.
Boom!
Exactly right.
Boom! Nah, but they're going to lose.
All right, well, we're actually going to move into the war room pretty quickly here.
Whoa.
And any thoughts about this series, Lex? We don't have a lot of time.
Yeah,
you got to get
real
it out
quick.
there.
Yeah, sure. Mouse has yet to win a game yet. However, Na'Vi has been looking pretty strong. However, there could be a chance that Mouse has fixed it together. I know that they've been upset about their losses, so we could see something good here.
Also,
right.
Mouse has said they didn't like the last patch. They seem to like this new one in their tweets with the new stacking and shit. Madra was tweeting and stuff. So, war room, let's go.
All right, let's do it. War room it is.
That was the team.
Oh, look at this.
Hello, sorry, still just packing up. Oh!
Alright, what's going on?
Oh,
Whoa!
Beastmaster. So,
Whoa.
fun fact for those who might have missed last week, Mouse
Calm down.
accidentally picked Beastmaster as their last pick. And this time,
accidentally.
not accident, second pick.
Beastmaster, double boars at 15, right?
Yep.
Instead of the respawn talent.
Reserve time.
That's one big one. Jack
There's
Hero,
one.
what's new with him?
Breathe Fire, right? Isn't that?
No, isn't it the Macro
Macro
Pyre
Pyre goes for
25?
the BKB at 25.
Piercing
That's the big
Cure.
one.
Right.
For Na'Vi.
Oh, maybe.
I thought he got a small buff, though, to
maybe
breathe fire
over it,
damage
maybe.
as one of his talents.
No, I think I had that before. But Brax,
Oh, okay.
why is Jack Hero great, in your opinion?
So he combines fire and ice together. Very unique for a Dota hero, for sure. But they actually made his first spell, the Breathe Fire, it's actually hittable now. You know, before you'd kind of click it on someone, they'd walk away from it because the range
right.
sucked
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
cast time took forever.
You'd miss
But
like
now-
the second breath, right?
Yeah, you can actually hit it now, so that's a pretty good buff to a hero.
Yeah, that'll make a difference.
Pretty hype.
Who's the first ban over there from Na'Vi?
I say, Ricky.
Ricky. Okay.
Ricky, Ayo, Bounty Hunter, and Ursa, right? But that's like very
10
targeted
seconds
Mousesports ban,
remaining.
I'd like to say. Especially Ricky, Ayo, and Bounty. The roaming and
5 seconds
Mousesports or
remaining.
Adfinem were really known for their Ayo and roaming Bounty, right? And then lately more
Reserve
Ricky.
time.
So what's the ideal position for Jakiro? I mean, are we kind of assuming this is going to be a core role maybe in the mid, or is it still fairly likely that he's supporting it up?
Nobody knows.
We just don't know. Okay.
We put him mid for now.
Okay.
Because of, what
Then
they've
you're right.
recently done. But I think you definitely pick it up to have that versatility between the places.
Dire team pick.
Spirit, there we go.
All right. Good roamer. Right into a Slardar.
Navi's turn to pick.
Interesting that they're
no,
going
but-
out with the Earth Spirit.
A lot of control
I
from
like
Mousesports.
what Owen said as well, like the Jakiro, he put him mid, but it still could be a support as well. So it's an open-ended draft once again, like we said before. And I really like that coming out from now. And then Slardar coming out from Mousesports. This is I'd guess a 4
team pick.
Slardar, right? Offlane Beastmaster, 5 Bane, I'd hope.
Yeah, sounds like it. A lot of stuns. And now into the Weaver, likely their safe lane.
Navi's turn to ban.
Yep, for sure. Some more minus armor together with the Slardar.
Damn, this is a quick draft, boys. These guys are
Yeah.
ready to go.
They're going
They know what
fast.
they want.
So what do you guys think about Terrorblade right now?
Great. What's the problem with Terrorblade? One of the best, I think, had the best win
10
rate at Kiev.
seconds remaining.
Just overall great hero. Mostly.
Was he tweaked in this patch? I didn't have his
5
changes written down in my
seconds
notes. Must have been a minor change if he had one.
No changes.
No changes?
Yeah.
All right.
Reserve time.
That's super
Brax with the
interesting
save.
that he has done very well in pro games, and as we saw from the last major, but he didn't warrant a change, which means that there's good ways to counter him. Teams can work around that. When a hero's super good in a draft, but he doesn't get nerfed, it means that you can figure it out.
Yeah, I'm just sort of trying to think of other changes in this patch, maybe just to the game or the meta or the changes in creeps that could have impacted
Dire
Terrorblade,
team
but not
back.
much is really coming to mind, actually.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Local experts, any ideas? What do you think of Braxy?
Imbalanced hero.
He's
Too
just
good?
so OP,
Yeah.
he cannot even be nerfed?
Well,
Is that what
he's, no, he's like he's a situational hero. That's why
10
you'll see heroes like
seconds
when Storm Spirit's picked like 4th or 5th, they have super high win rates.
Right.
Terrorblade's kind of the same
5
thing.
seconds
You pick him in
remaining.
these kind of games where they have high physical damage. He's a hero that has like 40 armor just when he has like 2 or 3 items. And if you don't really have a way to
Navi's
punish
turn
the
to pick.
meta, he becomes super strong in the early parts of the game, which a lot of carries, you know, they can't do anything early in the game, right? You're Stark, farm Shadowblade. A lot of these heroes need their items. TB plays off a cooldown. So whether he has, you know, Treads or Scotty, he's still going to do the same thing where he metas, comes to some tower, some
10
team fight, and
seconds
just
remaining.
destroys.
Also, I think it's important, especially with the
5 seconds
Jakiro
remaining.
pick with Terrorblade as well, is the pushing power, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you have this push built
Reserve
into
time.
a great carry as well. And OD coming out last for Mouse, I think this is to somewhat deal with Terrorblade, the pure damage coming out from the Arcane Orb, as well as the ulti int against Terrorblade is really well. It's really good.
They needed some variance in the damage output. As
for
Brax was saying, ton of physical, they have a lot of minus armor, but now we'll see a 5th pick Lina.
So it's not going to be the core Jakiro that we would hope for. It's going to be the mid Lina almost certainly.
Yep. Looks like it's already been picked up by Dendi. Okay. So time for a quick round of predictions here, boys, before we load into the game. Mouse or Na'Vi? Game number 1.
Mouse, they have a lot of control. A ton of ways to get out of stuff. But where's the damage? You need a little burst damage to deal with the Terrorblade, because he's just going to blow up anybody. It doesn't matter how many times you stun him. He'll still just swap health. So gotta go with Na'Vi on this one.
Scriff,
Oh, did I just
we broke him.
did I just convince you?
Navi.
All right, I will be the
Thank you,
contrarian.
Scriff.
I'm going to take the Mouse.
Wow.
They've got the control, and I
10
think this Weaver
seconds
OD might be able to make it happen. But time will tell. We're going to load into game number 1 of this 2-game series. We've once again got Brax and Owen to take it away.
Wow!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to joining myself and Brax for the second series of the day. We've got Na'Vi versus Mousesports. The drafts are done, the picks are in. We've heard the panel's opinions. Brax, what are you liking? This matchup, you would have expected to be the closer one of today, but we've already seen, of course, Elements giving us a bit of an upset, and obviously in terms of previous performance, Na'Vi coming in with the upper hand. Do you, as their draft, given them the upper hand here, or have Mouse got something cool under their sleeves?
I don't know. It's always hard with Terrorblade in the game, right? Sometimes it feels like he wins the game so quickly, and then some games it feels like, well, he kind of wasted meta. Now he's not very strong. And they do have some tools to deal with him. OD, very, very good. One-shots the illusions all game long. And Terrorblade, not the smartest guy. Pretty low int.
It's true, yeah.
So when he gets ulted, he just dies. So it really does depend on the early game in this game. And they do have good heroes to make it happen, especially with the Weaver and the Beastmaster. These are great heroes at pressuring early, so I feel like the early game will pretty much tell the story of this game.
I mean, well, what's up with the Beastmaster? I mean, that feels like a hero that a lot of teams don't touch. But is it the fact that, is it what, just the change with Shrines that kind of pushing and pressure is easier to execute now in this patch?
It's definitely a hero that's like, some teams play with this hero well, and some teams don't play this hero at all.
Okay.
It's like
it's a player thing,
yeah, sometimes they play really well around the Hawk, or sometimes it's just it's a great, thank you, LD. Sometimes it's great, you know, they can play a lot off the Roar, right? There's nothing to reset Roar in this game. Some games you play Beastmaster and they have all these different tools, Shallow Grave, and Disruption, just some of these spells that reset the team fight. But in this game, there's nothing, you know? One Roar probably going to kill anyone this game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess in terms of getting someone off a target, it's a nice cog placement. That's, yeah, you're right. That's about it. It could be tricky to stop that sort of single target. And yeah, as you said, with the Beastmaster setup, followed by a lot of physical between the Weaver, Slardar, and OD combination. That's a lot of single target damage. Against cores as well, if you're Na'Vi, you're, I mean, unlikely to build a BKB in the early stages. PyCap may be forced to down the line to help him out against the OD. At least keep the main base hero alive. And we'll see what Mouse can do. And already they're looking to get aggressive. Who are they going to look to go upon? They'll look towards PyCap, pulse the Metamorphosis straight away, preparing for the turnaround fight. There'll be a sleep to hold back the TB, but he may not be needed here with the body blocks onto MNT, and that's going to be your first blood going the way of Na'Vi. They'll take down MNT and see if they can even chase down for more here. They've got that slow onto Spartan, and Spartan should be safe here unless they can connect with the roll slow. It's going to be a little off the mark though. So Spartan will be able to walk his way out of there, but at the end of the day, that's Mouse handing themselves on a plate to Na'Vi, giving them first blood.
Yeah, first blood, and then they're going aggro as well, so not off to the greatest start there, feeding away the first blood, but at least they make TBU's meta, so pretty long cooldown. It'll be out pretty soon, and then he doesn't do a whole lot in the lane phase, but still, good for Navi, for sure.
Yeah. Do you like this approach from Mousesports, saying that we want to go aggressive against the TB in the laning stage?
I actually thought they would do dual lanes.
Okay.
I thought that they would do like the Bane and the Beastmaster, or the Slaughter, or sorry, the Slaughter and the Beastmaster on the off lane, because there's not a whole lot of kill threat. You know, it's just the slow and then the roll, and if they have Slaughter there to protect against the melee heroes, they could probably get a lot in the lane, but this is a better way to kind of shut down TB, because, like, look at him right now. He's got 1 CS, meta's on cooldown. He can't do anything, right? He's just a tanky melee creep for now.
And this, of course, with this tri-lane down here, it gives you this 1v1 matchup up top. I mean, Beastmaster versus Clock, is there a hero that's necessarily going to be winning the lane here?
Beastmaster has, like, the better right-click and just stats on the hero, so he's stronger in the lane in that sense, but Clockwork, of course, kill potential with the cogs, battery assault. So it's just a lane where if Clockwork does get the kill, then he can snowball a bit, but it's probably just going to be pretty passive. Both heroes farming, Beastmaster harassing him early. Clock has no kill potential until like 4 or 5, so it's just a way of getting Beastmaster a pretty decent early game.
And of course, interesting stat there. We've obviously not had many games in 7.06 being played, but already Clockwork on par as the second highest picked hero in 9 pro games.
Yeah.
So a lot of people going towards that hero. I mean, what's up with that? Is it just the need to do better in the laning stage, to have that sort of control to really disrupt the farm of the opponent?
Yeah, having like so these offlane changes, right? They always tweak these things. We have the shrines being on cooldown until 5 minutes. Clockwork kind of makes these lanes laneable that most other heroes can't lane. Like Clockwork and Shaker are the big heroes that can go into these unwinnable lanes and get something out of it. And it seems to be quite important right now, because most of these offlaners, they won't get anything if there's a normal tri lane here. You know, they'll get the first wave, and then they stack the hard camp, and then they're just sitting there, kind of twiddling their thumbs forever, waiting for something to happen. But Clockwork can do it all himself.
Down on the bottom lane, where we're seeing Pycat start to get some CS again, and even though he had the slow start, he's keeping on par with Madara, who actually was unable to really kind of race ahead, even with the early pressure that was put onto the TB. So, all in all, these lanes at the bottom ending up pretty even, and surely if you're Mouse and you're running this tri-lane aggressive, putting that much focus down here, you need to be coming out on top for it to be worth your time, sure.
Yeah, I can't imagine they're going to sit down there much longer.
Yeah,
you know, support's like, well, we're not doing a whole lot, guys. It's time to move. Maybe go for a kill on the Clockwork. But once TV picks up that 4-man shield and he's got some levels, they can't touch him in this lane. Like, they've just got 3 heroes sitting there farming together. And look, Weaver and Bane are pretty much zoned from the lane. What are they really accomplishing here?
In fact, they may be in kind of a situation where they're giving up their own lives. They get the slow onto Spartan, moving forward with the Metamorphosis. Spartan, that Boulder Smash, almost certainly going to go down again with that Liquid Fire. He'll tick out. That's going to be a kill for Na'Vi, and yeah, as you mentioned, this is definitely a point where if you're Mousesports, you are absolutely questioning the effectiveness of having 3 heroes down here if you're the side losing lives.
Yeah, they can't feel good about this aggro now. I can't imagine that they'll keep continuing this. But now it puts them in a really awkward spot, right? Weaver, he wants to go back to the lane, or the safe lane probably, but lane against the high-level Clockwork, not great. And then Beastmaster probably forced to jungle for the most part. He could probably lane bottom, but he did a lot more farm in the jungle for now. So kind of a deficit that they put themselves at here with the lane phase.
Yeah, but in the other lanes as well, top lane Clock and Beast, as you mentioned, Beast finding stuff from the side camps, he's keeping themselves even, both getting the farm that they need. And that mid lane matchup, I believe, was going pretty close as well. I think slight edge for Dendi. Yeah, indeed. 26 for 5 against the 22 for 7. But still very close. And MNT trying to see if he can find some action here with the Invis rune. But already General did make the trip back to base out of mana and pretty low on the health department. Is level 5, so pretty close to finding that 6. And then certainly a chance for him to look for some rotations. And rotations that are going to be very strong as well. If he can get a hook shot onto that OD mid, he can certainly enable Dendi to have the opportunity to find a kill.
And as we can see in the bottom lane, pretty much Madara just playing the off-lane Weaver for now.
Yeah, he's on his own.
Yep.
Bane will come back to help him, but absolutely in terms of the farm, where we're now starting to see Pycat get an edge, it's going to feel like that. Madara is going to be starved for farm in this early game. Here we go, mid lane. In fact, I talked about General coming in with a rotation once he hits 6. He actually makes the journey over at level 5, bringing Thug down low.
Oh, no boots on the OD.
One more Dragon Slayer from Dendy will seal the deal as Thug holds back the clockwork, but nothing he can do to stop the Donda. As the nuke comes through, the rotation is successful, and I mean, that's got to feel fantastic. If you're able to make that much of an impact before you hit the 6 on the clockwork, you know you're having a great laning stage.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one of those lanes where it does not get easier for OD at all. Once Lina picks up those levels, there's so much more kill potential on the OD. It's quite rough.
Yeah, this bottom lane really starting to look grimmer and grimmer for Mouse. Double the CS on Pycat as he is going back to having the free farm that he wants. General in with the rotation, finds Spartan, and Spartan has nowhere to run or hide. He can try for some sort of a deny, but he's not going to get the chance to with the battery assault from General flying through. And this clockwork all up and down the map. We've already seen a strong clockwork performance today from Elements, and Na'Vi bringing the hero in, and already in 6 minutes, making General's effect really felt across the map.
Yeah, and that's a clockwork that's still level 5. Making these plays without the hook shot.
Yeah, really, really nicely done. I mean, obviously in the top lane with those movements from General, it has given the space here for Skylark to get his own levels. He's now picked up the level 7. Going for the brown boots straight into Vladimir's as his build. And with that level advantage on the Beastmaster, they'll look to try and get him involved. They're going to bring him down to the bottom lane. We'll see what they can find. Na'Vi having Biver in a pretty good position to stop any sort of smoke rotation and give Pycat the info to start to back up. The question is, can he get himself far enough back? They've got the Nightmare into the Raw, and that'll be enough. They'll be able to get 1 kill. In fact, they'll get a second almost certainly with the bugs, and Mousesports doing exactly what they needed to do there. Using the hero that was having the best time in lane to come over to where it was most needed and secure some positive action for the side.
Yeah, definitely a fantastic play there. Nice smoke movement. And that's exactly what they need.
Yeah.
You know, they're waiting for that rotation to where Beastmaster can try to find that opening and pressure this lane.
Up top, General playing around with Madara, and Madara just have to be careful. General has a hook shot, and he will not be afraid to use it if he sees a chance to. Madara, again, with pretty much the last Shikuchi. He's got to hope that he does not get found out here by General. Does have a good amount of stick charges, though. And that may just save Madara, as General's not going to want a hook shot or commit it as of yet. TP through will come across, and Mouse, they'll now look to try and punish this play from Na'Vi. Pycat incredibly deep here, as he was positioned with General behind that tier 1. He'll get taken down. General will manage to cog and TP himself out, but rotating a TB, doing minimal damage to the tower and then losing his life, that is not what Na'Vi needed to happen, as Mousesports, again, with the better move.
Yeah, he was in a pretty awkward position.
Yeah,
like,
he was very far past that tower.
Yeah, for sure. But he TP's up there because he feels like he needs to make something happen on the map. You know, once the enemy team invades your safe lane like that, you don't really want to go back into that exact same spot. So he TP's up, uses the meta, tries to pressure, but Mouse, they defend, and TP's in a pretty bad spot now. He just died back-to-back twice in a row now, meta on cooldown.
And we just see as well, MNT just getting caught out with the rotation. Bottom lane though, Mouse continuing to find trades as they'll bring down Biver in return, so support for a support. Skylark did have to commit the roll for that, but that kill certainly brought him very very close to having the completed Vladimir's at a very good timing, 9 minutes in.
Yeah, very farm Beastmaster this game, and his impact has been quite high.
Yeah, second highest on the net worth, and we're certainly feeling it in the plays. General back onto the bottom though to look to push back Skylark in. It's being a battle of the offlaners to try and prove their worth the most to their team. With the rotations, General 25 seconds and they'll have that hook shot. And once that's back up, we'll certainly want to look ready to go. And again, General, with the same build that we're seeing most clocks go, you know, picking up that drums, an item that certainly had its time in the game and has fallen off for a lot of heroes, but Clock definitely one that extra early game tankiness seems to absolutely pay dividends on.
Yeah, he can actually use the intelligence part of it pretty well too, because he does definitely need the mana early on in the game. Most heroes didn't really need that mana at all, and drums kind of just fell off, wasn't worth it for the stats, but now we've seen kind of a resurgence here on the clockwork especially.
Mouse, again with the smoke play, last one was incredibly successful. If they find Dendy here, that would be a perfect pick. It looks like Skylar was just close enough to have it dispelled, and they won't head that way. I think they're still kind of confused how that smoke came off of them. Dendi now heading back over towards the bottom lane. They do catch wind of it, but they don't want to chase it down. Instead, they'll use the smoke to move themselves into position to pressure down this tier 1 in the mid lane as Thug and Skylark push onwards. Suneiko's there on the high ground. We'll start to see TPs coming through for Na'Vi. They're bringing in mass numbers. They want to try and fight this, and in they go immediately. Onto Skylark with the boulder smash. General traps him up in the cogs. They'll take down the Beastmaster. Holding the tower, Na'Vi with the successful defense and the space actually on the bottom lane for Pycat to nearly find a tier 1. He'll play it safe though as soon as reaction comes in from Mouse, as MNT will find the crush. Can he play his way out of this? As you say, yet to have that point in the ultimate. Looks like it wasn't needed at the end of the day. The illusions and the metamorphosis enough to force Spartan and MNT back. Send the illusions in, trying to finish off the attack. Really wants to find him. Metamorphosis has worn out. He's really playing on the edge here. No, but he's got the back of a General who comes across with the hook shot. MNT cutting his way around the tree line to avoid the ultimate there of Biva. There's been a TP in from the Weaver, but Pycat did find the tower, gets himself back out. Skylark pops the Roar down onto the clock with the time lapse back. Madara gets himself in position to help commit for the kill and punish the clock. But Na'Vi, at the end of the day, they do get the tower and they do keep Pycat alive.
Yeah, both teams really wanting to defend their towers. We saw an engagement mid lane, and then immediately Navi's pushing the bottom lane with that Terror Blade rolling on the mid.
Oh yeah, some really, really nice initiations for Suneiko. And any time you're getting that initial boulder smash, you're almost certainly getting the kill. Thug will buy himself some time here. Dendi a little on the mana, but he's got enough for one with Dragon Slave, and that will be enough to get themselves the kill.
Yep, Dendi's been pretty quiet up until that last team fight pretty much, but he's very, very farmed this game on his Lina. Top of the net worth, and once Lina gets out of control like this, you know, when she gets that early Bloodstone, she really takes over the map sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and again, where they're going to look for constant skirmishes, they're going to be able to rack up those Bloodstone charges pretty quick, but at the same time, they do have to be careful, as we talked about earlier, the lack of save. Dendi still very much vulnerable if Mouse are able to get up and in his face. A lot of that's going to rely on the sort of the blink daggers. I mean, if we look at the slide, MNT, I believe is probably still quite a while away from having any sort of blink dagger going indeed, yeah. Yet to really start the climb towards it. So there isn't going to be any sort of huge initiation anytime soon. It's mainly just on the chance of getting a Raw or a Nightmare that they're going to rely on. Madara this game on the Weaver, picking up the Midas as well this time round.
Definitely a good choice going for the Midas, especially after his slow start. You know, he's going to need something to accelerate his farm and kind of get him back in the game. He's been very active, but he's still lacking in the last sets, as we can see, 47. All right, nice. Roars the courier there. Picks up some gold for his team.
Gets himself the money to finish off the medallion. Pycat, though, continues to find space up on top as he keeps himself on par with the OD and just slightly ahead of the Weaver. Again, though, it's very, very close. The biggest difference is really being, well, between the mid laners, you've nearly got a 1k difference, and between the off laners, there's about a 1k difference as well. But in each turn, going for the opposite side, so Na'Vi with the lead in the mid, but Mouse with this slight gold lead in the off lane. So very, very close. So, you know, 13 minutes in, both teams finding objectives, hitting their timings. It's going to be the close game that we hope for. I mean, the question is who can kind of pull themselves out of this part and get themselves ahead. Is there a certain item do you feel that either side's waiting for before they really try and make a big go?
Mouse definitely need to get Blink Dagger somehow on MNT's Slaughter. Like, they just need to give him space somewhere, but it's so difficult with this Clockwork just running around. He's not farming any lanes at all, just sitting off the map looking for these kills and pickoffs, so Slaughter really isn't going to have anywhere to farm. You know, he's going to get his gold through team fights and just waiting pretty much, and it's not going to come very quickly at all.
Oh, hook shot in, straight in onto the river. They managed to find out MNT. Yeah, the man who's dreaming of a Blink Dagger will be knocked back on his journey again a little bit more. And Madara with that Midas, certainly racking up the gold. Dragon Lart's nearly complete.
Yeah, at one point Madara was like 6th in net worth.
Yeah.
Now he's definitely pulling it back. Midas paying off big time.
And in a game where, I mean, are there any other Midases in play? Well, hold that thought, because bottom lane, Skylark with the balls and the Raw finds himself a solo kill, straight in onto Biva. It's a lot of damage that he can offer with that medallion and such in mid lane. Trying to make a play onto Na'Vi, but a boulder smash from Suneiko will hold them back. Cogs drop from General, making it hard for Mouse to move forward, but they have the Nightmare here to set up, surround him, get in position to finish off the kill, and they'll get it. They bring down the Clockwork. Pycat has put the Metamorphosis as they look to try and fight back, but Mouse, they in fact want to try and go for more here. There's no tier 1. Sentry is dropped though, and Mouse will hold back, but they'll be fine with this. They get themselves a kill, and they should be able to work around and wait off the Metamorphosis timing on Pycat.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a double damage Terrorblade with meta as well that they're able to pretty much disengage from the fight. You know, he's not going to get anything with this at all. Perhaps they'll go for another push on the mid with Clockwork respawning, but even still, meta doesn't have the longest duration now.
It's going to be down for a good amount of time. And yeah, anytime you're stopping that push, I mean, as you said, every time you have that Metamorphosis up, you want to be finding an objective or a fight. They will come back in onto the tower, but look at Mouse with this wraparound. The three of them coming straight from behind. They've got the Nightmare onto Seneko, trying to hold him back. Pycat has to back up. The Metamorphosis now wearing off. A good ultimate from Piper down the middle, really breaking the fight, allowing them to kill off the Bane. They put the Roar onto Dendi. MNT moving in position. Dendi has to kill himself. Has the Bloodstone Suicide to get himself out of there. Na'Vi still finding the kills. They've picked themselves up a second. Silence from Seneko, forcing MNT to get himself back up to the high ground. So Na'Vi do lose the Lina, but they get the tower. They take 2 kills. It's going to be painful for Dendi's Bloodstone charges, as I believe that came very shortly after he picked the Bloodstone up.
Yeah, unfortunately he loses the charges there, but they still pretty much win that fight.
Yeah.
Without meta, it ran out at the end there. He pretty much didn't right-click anyone with it, but it was a good idea from Mouse. You know, they want to take this fight still. They came in from the back, got the flank off. Unfortunately, the bugs from Weaver woke up the Earth Spirit when he got slept, so it didn't really do a whole lot. Perhaps they could have done that slightly better to perhaps win the fight, but you know, it still wasn't that bad, right? It was like 2 kills, and Lina still died, so she loses Bloodstone charges. And anything like this where Slaughter doesn't die helps him get a little bit closer to that Blink Dagger.
Oh, it really does, yeah. What, 1,500 gold. That's a huge jump up from the position he was in a couple of minutes ago. So that's great news for MNT. Even more fantastic news for Mouse if they are able to find Roshan. They're into the pit.
They've got some great heroes for doing this, Roche, but Na'Vi, they have good ways to scout it too. Rocket, very scary.
Yeah, Mouse are really respecting that as well. I mean, General would have loved to go there, had an Arcane Rune in his pocket as well. And they back off. Mouse, they smoke up, and they are going to look for potentially a wraparound pick-off before heading back into the pit. We'll see how much of a wraparound they go for, as they see Dendi in the mid lane, and indeed already you can see the long wraparound coming in from the Bane. Top lane, Madara continuing to farm. It really is just up to Spartan and Skylark to set something up in the middle. They're being careful about it, though. Dendi, close to having the money for boots to travel on top of the Bloodstone, and now it's going to be Na'Vi themselves going for the smoke. But I believe with that Observer Ward from Mouse on the high ground, they should have seen that.
I think so.
I think it clipped, yeah, just the angle down there. I believe it would have got Dendi. So they know what's up. And Na'Vi are going to be making moves towards Madara. Madara, he really should just make a beeline straight back to base, as, well, he's not going to get the chance to here with this silence. That lockdown, he's gone. Maybe didn't quite realize that smoke was going to be heading straight for him, as they, pretty sure they should have had eyes on that.
Yeah, even if they didn't see the smoke there, pretty obvious when,
everyone's gone.
Yeah, exactly, when they had eyes on them the entire time. But now comes the push. We got Terrorblade, even Lina, great at pushing. Jakiro with the Liquid Fire. These towers drop so fast if they can get pickoffs like that. And all of a sudden, now it's Roshan looks pretty difficult for Mouse.
Yeah.
Right, they need that tier 2 tower to kind of secure their jungle area. They do still have the shrine, which can't be taken out until the tier 3s are done, but now it's harder for them to do anything in that area of the map.
By that. Be a little careful with Skylark here in the neighborhood. Skylark now with a completed Solar Crest. So continuing to amp up that solo damage he can do when he gets the Roar off. And there's the Blink. There's the item that we've been waiting for from Mouse. And at the same time, in fact, Blink finished on the OD.
Yeah,
so
double Blinks picked up. This is go time from them now.
Great initiation, great save potential as well. It is certainly all there. But at the same time, quite a crucial item for Dendi as well. It's where they can offer a bit of an answer to these initiations if it's on someone other than Dendi. Dendi can get himself TP'd over and look to try and react to the players of Mouse. And Madara with his build, of course, looking for the Maelstrom. Absolutely crucial against the TB. You know, magical damage and having those bounces for the illusions. It just goes hand in hand. Is why that's such a great pickup against the Terrorblade.
Na'Vi looking for plays here. Oh, blocks with the boar. Nice play. But they see Beastmaster pushing in this bottom lane, and that's how Mouse have been playing the whole game. They're playing off this Beastmaster side lane pressure, so they kind of know Dendi's up in the top lane, pushing it out. Nothing's really happening to him, so he's pretty much confident that they're in that area. Rocket Flare, of course, scouts out the starter, confirming that. And the split push is very hard to deal with if you can't get these lanes out far enough. OD, not a great hero pushing these lanes. Weaver, also not the fastest lane pusher. It's pretty much Beastmaster that has the strongest lane pushing power. But if Terrorblade's in the area, he also can't push it back.
Middle lane again. Seneko. He's been having a pretty good game here on the Earth Spirit. I say pretty good. He's 1-0-11. A lot of kills happening because of his setup with the Earth Spirit plate. And that was another one to add to the list. Good silence, and of course, at this stage of the game, a lack of BKBs on Mouse's cores means that the Earth Spirit incredibly potent. And that one kill there, pretty much setting up Na'Vi for a pretty solid Roshan attempt. Down to half health, Mousesports. They are kind of in the neighborhood, but it doesn't look like they're going to come in for anything, and this should be a freebie for Na'Vi, as they'll pick up Roche, grab it onto Pycat, and Mouse don't have an answer.
That's got to feel so bad for Mouse. They have 3 different Roshan killing heroes, right? They have the Beetles from Weaver, Beastmaster's great. Oh no, MNT's in some dangerous position.
The Courier Duke's there, and he'll try for the TP out. He has to cancel it. He knows Dendy's got a light strike, and he'll try and play his way around. We'll have a blink again in a second, so can certainly make them work for this. Goes up. Where's he gone? He's up there in the base, and he is just making them chase him down. General will be in there with the battery assault and punch him out, and MNT with the beautifully timed trombone.
That's the space right there.
And certainly attracts him out, and look at the bottom lane. You're not joking. Skylark's about to find himself a tier 2 by the looks of it with the boars and the illusions, and he's going to get it. In fact, he's looking for potential for a kill. He'll get the roar off onto Seneko. Spartan with the Fiend's Grip onto the Jakiro. It will instantly be cancelled as Seneko's able to get the 2-man boulder smash off, and in fact with the silence as well. Oh, that gets turned around incredibly painfully for Mouse. As they lose 2, they'll lose Skylark as well as Dendy finds him in the tree line. Double kill for the Lina. They may have got the tower, but they pay with 3 of their lives. Once again, Seneko just getting the chance to react, and each and every... I mean, we've got... What's Seneko's KD? It's got to look pretty beautiful, and it may look even better now if he can get himself over and involved in this one. The look towards Thug will be pushed out of the cogs. And there we have, again, another kill for Na'Vi. 2-0-13. Seneko just going untouched this game on the Earth Spirit.
Yeah, Seneko's having quite the game.
Yeah.
And man, this game looks very difficult now for Mouse. They have to deal with the Aegis Terrorblade, who's just going to keep pushing and farming all these lanes out. They got caught down there in the bottom lane. It's really hard to dance around these heroes. Earth Spirit, Clockwork, even the Lina running so quickly, they'll catch you. If you're out in the area, they will come and kill you.
And of course, as you said, just the fact that onto the TB but Dendy as well, these 2 cores getting themselves ahead of the Weaver, and the OD it feels as well. Thug's really been struggling to do much this game. He's falling behind. I mean, you know, Madara has a chance to catch back up with that Midas, but of course with the build that Thug's running, he opted to not go for the Midas this time round. And very little ways that he can safely flash farm on the map when Na'Vi, as you mentioned earlier, taking that tier 2 up top. They have good control over Mouse's jungle, and now they're just shoveling themselves straight down their throats, right down the middle, onto the tier 3s, and Na'Vi Dendy just waltzes up Laguna to instantly burst down Spartan. And how are you going to stop this? That's the question. They do have the Maelstrom on Weaver. Is it enough, though? Thug tries to come in for a bit of a tickle, start to try and get some in, but he only gets 1 touch in and then has to back off. And Pycat, he just sits there. The reflection's out, making sure that MNT doesn't have any sort of a chance to jump in with a blink. They'll try for an initiation on the back as Skylark comes in with a roar, but there's no follow-up. There's a defensive Astral, but at the end of the day, that may cost Thug's life. General wraps around, finds the hook shot. Skylark's going to be the first to fall as Na'Vi, they clean up the racks in the middle lane, get themselves a kill, and it feels like there's very little Mouse can do to stop it.
Man, this Lina hero is still so strong in all these games. Farms ridiculously fast, hits from sniper level range pretty much.
Man, Na'Vi just playing really, really nice this game. 24 minutes in, yeah, you're talking about Dendy's, him and Pycat off the charts, and it just really feels like it went downhill for Mouse. Ever since really that bottom lane didn't go great. You know, they tried to run this aggressive tri-lane, it fell apart, and it just didn't feel like there was a plan B, really.
When lanes go bad like that, it reflects a lot of the times on the support. We saw MNT, he didn't really have any deaths early on in the game. It's just that he had nowhere to farm, and that usually happens because that aggro lane doesn't go well. You know, once that lane doesn't go well, we have Weaver off-laning, and then Beastmaster needs to make the rotations down there, but Starter can't lane top against Clockwork at all, he'll die. So it's like, he gets screwed over the most by this poor lane setup.
Absolutely. It certainly seems to be the way. And for Mousesports to turn this, it's going to be very, very hard. It's just a case of the fact that Na'Vi can just do what they just did in the mid lane again on a side lane. And you've got to ask yourself, what have Mouse got to do to stop it? They have pick-off potential, but in terms on a full 5-on-5 team fight, it really feels that the lineup's lacking, and they may not even have the chance for a 5v5 with Thug being caught out like this outside of his home base, in fact very deep over the territory of Na'Vi, and Spartan trying to escape, but he'll go for the Nightmare. Can he get himself out? General is going to chase him down with the drum charges. We'll have a rocket flare in a couple of seconds.
Oh,
he's even going to go for the taunt here as he comes in for the finisher. Spartan has a brain sap. It's not going to save him. General picks up a second, gets the double kill, and the rest of Mouse sent scattering back towards their base.
Man, I feel like Mouse have a really good and clear idea with their draft. You know, they have this heavy Roshan damage. Their lineup can really snowball super hard off the Roshan kill, but they set themselves up for it really poorly in their lane phase. If they would have just played the safe lane and kind of just, they didn't enable their own game. You know, they kind of ended up playing Navi's game. They went into this lane that they couldn't really do well enough in, and then you never really felt the effect of all their heroes coming online fast enough. Slaughter's blink was extremely slow due to the poor lane setup, and it just felt like they couldn't play their game.
And if it, General. I mean, he's had a good game, so we can't really have a go. But he does hookshot himself right into Dendy's backside, and as a result of that, Mouse will be able to get themselves out of the top lane. But yeah, as you said, the draft that they had, it had a clear plan. It's not worked out, and now it's to the point where it really feels like the strength of their draft is to look for sort of that split push potential. That they really want to try and find fights with Na'Vi where Na'Vi aren't turning up with the full 5-man. And they have got that Beastmaster, that Weaver, they've got good push. But Na'Vi just not letting that happen. If they can find kills like this though, this would be massive. They will jump in on the bottom lane. They've managed to find Biver and Pycat, but the rest of Na'Vi are making their ways across, and already the Bane's down. Thug will get taken out as well. The Sanity's Eclipse, not enough to drop the Jakiro. In general, already there with the wraparound. Finding a third, bringing out Skylark. Dendy's ready for the chase down on Temeti. The hookshot will be whiffed, but they've got the Yule set up. General comes in again with the taunt into the cogs. They've trapped the Slardar. And it really feels like Mousesports cannot get a break this game, as Na'Vi, they've just got their number every time. They know what they're doing and they know how to react to it.
We've seen Dota come a long way in terms of individual skill. Pycat there, Manta dodging, the Slardar stun, setting all that up pretty much. Massive. And of course, you know, they're keeping up the good spirits. Well played all around.
This is the great thing about, well, as we're seeing Na'Vi, but also Mousesports. Even when they're losing, they have a bit of fun with the emotes and such. And that's certainly going to be the case by the looks of it this game, as Spartan just dove upon behind the tier 3 in the racks. They are going to start to get their team back alive, but already the tier 3 to fall. Na'Vi putting pressure onto the second set of racks on this bottom lane. What can Mouse do to stop it? I mean, Pycat just waltzing forward, has that Solar Crest buff upon him. And Madara, he can barely get a hit in. That'll be the Boulder Smash onto the Beastmaster, forced forward into the clutches of Na'Vi. Skylark will drop a roar, but again, these ultimates from Biver, forcing Mouse to scatter. And again, another dodge here as Pycat pots the Manta, and they'll tap out. It's all too much for Mousesports. It's getting painful. 29-7, 28 minutes in, 23k gold lead. Na'Vi taking game 1. And in a very confident style as well. That was a very polished Na'Vi, and a Mousesports a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, very, very convincing win there from Na'Vi. Suneko, fantastic game from him.
He's
General
spirit
as well.
play. Yeah.
They all looked good.
Yeah, I mean, and the Clockwork, we said at the start, it seems to be a hero that people are loving in this patch, and we're certainly seeing why. It really puts a stop to these teams that maybe have said, you know, we want to try and go for these early plays, go for these pushes. There's less shrines, there's less sort of regen backup, second chances for the opponent. But suddenly a Clockwork turns up with the cogs, and you just split apart massively.
Yeah, all these Clockworks feel super scary in all these games. It's not like the old Clockwork where he kind of just hooks in
and then dies.
Has no items, no farm.
Yeah, easy lanes for the Clocks and easy games for the Clocks as well, as we're saying. But there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Na'Vi take themselves game 1 against Mousesports. And well, we'll see what can happen in game 2. We saw Elements, the underdogs, able to do it in the first series today against VP. And we'll have to wait and see if Mouse can do it against Na'Vi in the final game of the day. Coming up very shortly after this short ad break. We'll see you in a momentum.